How's it going, my brothers? Welcome back to your daily dose of Broodwar. Today, a very special day indeed. We've got Rain spawning here in the top right-hand corner, and his opponent, Flash, in the bottom left, playing Zerg off race.
Nice. It's what you like to see. And I think you were saying to me before we started recording this, saying that Flash has been playing random on the ladder. So when he comes up against these guys initially, he's going to be probably off race as well. So these series are going to be quite interesting with him playing something a bit less standard than usual and then having the Terran games after. So I'm sure a lot of people are excited to see him play off race.
Yeah, it seems like he meets somebody on the ladder, and then he keeps getting sniped over and over, so he just gets long series against these other pro players and tends to switch over to Terran once he plays that first game off race, just so that he can show his best play to whoever stream is actually sniping him. It's funny to see streamers sniping players rather than players sniping streamers, so that's kind of backwards.
Yeah, usually you don't have it that way around, but I guess Flash is Flash, so I mean, of course it's going to be a bit different when he's in the equation.
Yeah, it's a bit of a role reversal here. We've got Rain throwing down his gateway out in the front. We're going to get to see how Flash plays ZVP. Even if he's rusty, I still expect a great game here versus Rain.
Yeah, unless he makes some kind of catastrophic blunder, which I don't necessarily anticipate. I'm sure he'll at least put on a good show here. Do see a gateway first from Rain. Could also be pylon blocking that natural for Flash, but he's just going to send that drone over to the third location at the 9 o'clock and take that instead, meanwhile pumping out a Ling and some more drones after going for this overpull. So nothing too out of the ordinary so far, but Flash will have to be starting to produce a lot more Zerglings soon to deal with these initial Zealots coming out from Rain.
Yeah, going for just one pair of Lings is a bit rough. If he had left this pylon here, could have blocked the front.
He's running the Zealot around the other way, saying he's not going to see the Zealot coming. He doesn't know.
Ooh. He doesn't know.
He needs
about
a drone scout.
Yeah, no drone scout means he has no idea. He's saving Larva at least. Oh, he builds a drone. Oh no, this is going to be really, really rough. This is going to be super rough.
Oh. Yeah, he's really mind-gamed Flash here because the timing of the probe scout and the fact that Flash didn't send his own drone scout. This is going to be a little bit catastrophic for him. There are some more Zerglings on the way now, but with this probe and Zealot, they can do a lot of damage very quickly, so Flash is going to have to try and buy as much time as possible for these Zerglings to get around on top of that Zealot, kill one of those Zerglings, and actually Flash has kind of just barely done the impossible of just squeezing out enough time to prevent any damage being done to his economic line there. So really nicely done from Flash, but the threat is still not over. There's still this probe he has to kill and another additional Zealot, so still is trading well. Rain is actually pretty good with his micro.
Decent micro from Rain, but he didn't get much damage onto those Lings with his probe. If you get 2 hits with the probe, I think it is, and 2 hits with the Zealot, you can kill a Ling, but the probe was kind of dancing around behind the Zealot during that. Not really getting the damage that it was that it really should, and he ends up losing both those Zealots to about 4 Lings each. Only able to kill 3 of those each time. So a Flash holds on here, and with the economic start that he's had, you know, I was thinking that was going to be catastrophic, but now it's put him in a great position here. He's got a lot more drones than you would regularly have in this situation. And he's actually producing a ton of Lings and speed. What is he going to do here? Is he going to try and break this front? He sees there's no cannon. Maybe he wants to go for a Ling bust here.
I don't necessarily think so. I think he's just overmade Lings a little bit. Maybe he was considering the opportunity to go for that if he could, but I don't think he will go for that. One thing that was really interesting about that is basically Rain, because he sent the Zealot a long way around to avoid the Overlords, it was just barely enough time, and with a little bit of micro from Flash, to for the extra additional Zerglings to finally pop. So it was really well timed from Flash. If it had been like a few seconds later, we could have started to see drones going down. It would have been a nightmare situation for him, especially opening overpool. You shouldn't be losing drones opening pool first as Zerg. So now with these 10 speedlings in the middle of the map, going to be forcing Rain to back off with these 3 zealots, but they actually might not make it back to the wall in time. Flash might be able to get the surround on some of these.
Yeah, he's gonna get the surround here indeed. These zealots, just 3 of them moving across the map when there's 10 lings out on the map, but oh man, great micro here, pulling back the injured zealots. He manages to keep them all alive, albeit on low HP. They're gonna start to push across the map. Yeah, I don't think he can go much farther with these. They're very, very low, but great trading there for Rain, just keeping all of those alive and killing off a bunch of lings.
Yeah, Rain's got pretty good micro, and Flash is going to be careful when dealing with a Protoss that knows how to shuffle his zealots around like that. The 4th zealot coming in to help was really well timed from Rain there. We do see the +1 being taken at 5 minutes with a Sare, so also going to be getting a good confirmation scout on whatever tech that Flash does decide to go for now. And he is going to be going for that very fast Spire play, which actually fallen a little bit out of favor in the meta, but still a tried and true method of playing, and definitely can be strong here. Going to be starting to throw down some macro hatcheries, but could potentially lose a single Overlord.
Yeah, that Spire just about done here, but if he finds an Overlord right now, he could probably kill it. No, he's not going to find one. He sees instead the Evolution Chamber going down here at the center left, the Hydralisk Den here at the natural. The transition is coming. We're probably not going to see a huge clump of mutas coming out here, rather just going directly into Hydra with a few Scourge just to push away these Corsairs. And you know, he's identified that this is the play Flash is going for. He's still building Corsairs though, so maybe he knows something I don't.
Yeah, well, he's probably just setting himself up for a Sare Zealot play, or to catch an Ogre Zerg play out of Flash, who's kind of like hedging his bets a little bit with that. Because he can still do pressure onto Flash regardless of whether or not there's going to be mutalisks being made. And if he does get up to the 6 Sare Corsair count with the +1, he can start sniping the Scourge and reducing the cost efficiency of Flash, so that would still be advantageous for him. It's going to be like a 5-hatch Hydra style out of Flash as a follow-up. It'd be interesting to see if he wants to go for like 5-hatch straight into Lurker, or if he wants to throw down a 6th hatchery and try and go for pure Hydra. I have a feeling he'll probably transition into Lurker though.
Yeah, here comes the first few Corsairs into the natural, getting a kill on an Overlord, taking a little bit of damage there, but nothing significant. Looking for more Overlords here, and they are going to find some in the corner, but losing one of the Corsairs to a Scourge. Some more are going to come up as well. Actually, only built 1 pair of Scourge. That's a little bit of a blunder. 2 more Corsairs are going to come up and kill this Overlord as well. Supply blocking severely Flash at this moment when he really wants to be popping out some more drones, getting into his Hydralisk production. That is a bit painful for him right now. More Scourge going to come out here, but they're not on the path to take on these Corsairs, so that they end up getting picked off. And these Corsairs still sharking around here. They've really removed the vision on the map from our Zerg player as well. Flash not seeing this move out here could be a little bit problematic for him. He's running straight into the Zealots. They're going to take a pretty good trade, forcing everything back. He's got to get behind this wall right now. He will retreat back to the wall here, keep himself safe. Zealots are going to head up towards the north.
Yeah, Flash needs to be extremely careful right now, because if he doesn't abuse his Sim City, he cannot fight these Zealots very efficiently. So he has to either get all of his Hydras in one big clump to fight them, or use his Sim City to fight them. In any other scenario, the Zealots can start to do damage. Like we see here, they can start to get surface area on the Hydras, but Wisely is going to be backing away once they rejoin forces. And this is just keeping the Zerg distracted while the Corsairs come into the natural, take a bit more damage on his Overlord count, and as we can see now, a DT out on the map, so even more of a frustration for Flash to deal with here. Not only is his Overlords getting sniped, but now there's a DT roaming, so he's going to be pinned down even more. It's kind of like chess, where like you pin down a piece by, if you have to move that piece, now you're exposed and you have to make an inefficient trade, and that's kind of what we see here. Like just by the units and positioning of Rain, we are pinning down the units of the Zerg. But it looks like Flash wants to kind of try and hedge his own bets and put on some pressure at the front, maybe snipe the Scourge, but a Storm is going to be coming down onto those Hydras and blanket them, and kind of try and buy as much time as possible so the Zealots can come out and prevent this upgrade from going down. If he does get this upgrade still, it's going to be really huge, but Flash really wants to get the deny on that.
Yeah, Flash trying to get the deny on that. He is going to be flanked, though, by a bunch of Zealots here coming up to catch these Hydras, and a lot of them are low HP. They're going down. GG is called.
GG.
Flash taps out, a little bit frustrated there, losing more Overlords in his natural, getting supply blocked once again, and not able to deal that damage, not able to stop that upgrade. He taps out and goes into the next game. Rain is going to snipe him quite a few times here, guys. I won't reveal the number of games we have today, but we're going to see a lot more Rain versus Flash. That's coming right up. Flash versus Rain here. Game number 2 is going to be played on Neo Sylphid. Flash down in the bottom right. Rain over here in the bottom left. That was a great game, that last one, but it was a ZVP with a little bit of an early tap out there. I think Flash is going to be going for blood here in this next game, playing on his main race. Definitely going to be frustrated at that last loss. It's so annoying, honestly, to lose all your Overlords like that. Corsairs constantly, like Bisu-esque, running around just killing Overlords over and over. It's a constant supply block. Super, super frustrating.
Yeah, he kind of felt forced maybe to go for that play, but unfortunately he kind of got outplayed by Rain in that situation. And it is so frustrating to deal with once you start losing your Overlords. You're not only having to dump minerals into Overlords, but sometimes your lava on your hatcheries are banking up and you're not even getting lava cycles coming out, so you're losing out on potential production. It becomes a nightmare situation very quickly for Zerg, not able to ramp up their production quick enough and get that critical mass of Hydras they need to be able to fight that Protoss army in the mid-game.
I don't know if there's a Terran equivalent for that, but being constantly supply blocked is incredibly annoying for the Zerg player. Maybe like Reaver dropping into the main and then you just keep losing buildings.
You casted that game between Snow and Flash, where Snow dropped the Reavers into the main base, while Flash did the Doom drop into the main with 3 dropships and tanks. And right as Snow just basically checkmated him by killing all his depots. Flash had like 2,000 minerals, 1,000 gas, and just couldn't spend anything.
Yeah, I guess that would be sort of the equivalent here in Terran versus Protoss. But I still maintain that there's nothing more frustrating than losing all your Overlords to Corsair. And it just keeps happening over and over again, right? If they get you into that cycle, and you lose the first group of Overlords, then you lose another group of Overlords as they pop out, then there's just nothing you can do. You've got no units, you've got no supply to work with, and it can be incredibly, incredibly hard to deal with. Now, in this game, we're going to have a gasless fast expand for Flash. He's throwing down that command center. He's getting himself a bit of a Sim City. I don't know if this is actually tight, though. Is this Zealot tight here? I feel like you can still slip through, maybe. Or can you? That's a bit of a... It's visually funny there to look at, actually.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that one, to be honest with you. I don't think it's tight. But I think it's not meant to be Zealot tight. I think it's just meant to be Dragoon tight to prevent any run-bys in the early game. I think Flash is kind of a little bit greedy in this way. He used to play this style a lot where he goes for these bunker expands. He does like to do it a lot. He probably feels very confident doing it. But yeah, interestingly enough, I feel like he may get away with it this time, but we do see a very fast range timing from Rain. Did get his Nexus at a reasonable time, but he didn't skip the first Dragoon, so can put on a lot of pressure on the front. He is going to be running his Dragoon in, shaving off trading some of its shields to be able to confirm the command center, so he knows exactly what he's up against now. I imagine he might want to put on a little bit of pressure at the front and force a big repair bill out of Flash at the very least, and then start to come in and start sniping the tank with 4+ Dragoons once Flash finally gets a tank out.
And the follow-up here from Rain likely going to be a Reaver play. We've got the robotics facility, no second gateway just yet. So we'll probably see a robotic support may thrown down. Flash has been struggling against early Reaver play and the new style with mass shuttle drops all over your tanks and your push outs. So He may end up struggling against it here versus Rain as well. Maybe he's sharpened up his play. Maybe he's learned some things from the games versus Snow. This was played after that series you mentioned earlier versus Snow, so he may have had some time to kind of figure out what to do against this, but it is still a new style that a lot of Terran players struggle with, and they're trying to find innovative solutions to deal with it, but Flash may be not quite in the know on that just yet.
Absolutely saying. And do you remember in the cast against Snow on this map, you mentioned about how did he know to check for the factory that was placed down at the natural third? Well, you see how Rain is going around the map with his probe. He's checked all these positions, basically looking for the same thing. I think it might be just in the meta right now to be checking for when Terrans go for this bunker expand, make sure that both of those factories are inside the main of their base.
Yeah, he's being very diligent here, going all over the map. He's got that spotter pylon in the top center as well. Gonna be able to put that into a pylon wall here when he's ready to take that base. So a lot of good things coming out of Rain here. Flash being pretty ballsy with his first tank. Coming out here and taking some shots. So there's 4 Dragoons here and could dive on top. There they go. They're gonna dive. Oh, he loses the first tank.
Well, that's painful, and mostly shield damage to the goons as well. Still relatively healthy. Flash going to be healing up that other tank that was shot a little bit as well, but that's a nice little pickup from Rain. Getting at least just one of those tanks is a big deal. Flash kind of goading him and wanting him to come in again by having these tanks so far forward, and Flash now going to be wanting to push out himself, probably.
Yeah, gonna make some space here to get these vultures out. It looks like he will lose one. No, he managed to keep them both alive. Oh, another tank gonna go down here. He's diving right on top of it. He's actually going a bit greedy here. He goes for the second tank as well. He's gonna lose all his Dragoons, it looks like. Yeah, blocking here. He's gonna allow the Marines to hit these goons a lot. He actually needs to pull these out of the bunker and finish them off using just the SCVs for now. He's gonna lose a couple of SCVs, but he does kill every single Dragoon. 3 tanks for, what was that, like 6 Dragoons? I don't know if that's totally worth.
It's actually, I think, slightly Flash favored after losing the Dragoons without doing any SCV damage. If those Dragoons were not blocked in by the SCVs and started killing a few of the SCVs, it may be a little bit different story, but unfortunately those Dragoons just died. So yeah, in fact, this is a little bit Flash favored, because the thing is that these vultures at the third base of Rain can't really be challenged efficiently now that he lost all those Dragoons. So we're denying mining and a probe transfer to this third base. So Flash actually ahead in SCVs and supply right now, and has way better mining saturation because this third base is being denied from being mined for so long.
And what looked like a reasonable dive there to start turned into kind of a disaster for Rain as he greeted for all the tanks and the run by into the main base. Not the greatest play from him, but he's still in this game. He's not out of it by any means. He's going to transfer his probes now as he's cleared out the vultures in that position. He's removed the mine threat from the map as well. The tank count is very, very low, so it's going to be a struggle here for Flash to secure his third base, but this is a hotly contested game right now.
Yeah, it's also possible Flash might not float his command center right away. He might just keep that in his main base, making SCVs for just another minute or two, just to squeeze out a couple of extra tanks to make sure he can take this third securely. But he is probably going to be a little bit ballsy instead and just say, I'm just going to shuffle my tanks up here right now while I can. But this is a false high ground. There is no mischance shooting up this. And you can also see up it without an observer. So it's not the most easiest base to hold unless you can really exploit the edges of the base here.
Yeah, Flash not learning much from his game versus Snow there. Just going for a third base off of 2 factories. That is some ballsy play. I haven't seen the Reaver just yet. Where is this shuttle Reaver? We do have the shuttle out now. The Reaver is pretty late, I feel. Don't you think? This is... Oh, he's going for the speed now.
Yeah, but he didn't throw down the support bay until just recently. He went observer first and did quite a long time until he threw down that robotic support bay. That's why the Reaver's so late. So he actually might not be able to crack this nut of Flash right when he needs to. So this might buy Flash critical time that he needs to get this secured. Now we do see the scan in the main base identifying that the support bay is done, but there's a shuttle still waiting there. So Flash probably feeling even more confident now, knowing that there's not quite a Reaver out yet.
Yeah, just one shuttle, not the biggest threat in the world. We saw Flash get broken previously by the 3 shuttle timing, but that's still a long way off. He's going to need to build up that shuttle count over time. Another one is going to be on the way here, but for now, just one shuttle flying in. Maybe for some harassment. Unlikely he's going to be able to bust this 3rd now, and what looked like a ballsy play is now looking very, very smart from Flash. Able to take this base really, really quick. His SCV count, 65 already. He has a fantastic economy to get here into the late game.
Yeah, he certainly does, saying it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of the mine sweeping coming out from Rain as well. Really important to keep the mine clear from mines as much as you can, but it looks like Flash going to be really adamant in getting these vultures out on the map and going on a little raiding party. Going to be starting to find some of these bases that are getting thrown up, snipe a few probes if he can. But we want to be careful also not to dry up his vulture count too much, because he's going to have a really rough time of it if all of a sudden Rain just builds up a big army supply and crushes into him with a huge count of zealots. So he's going to be very careful he doesn't waste any vultures here.
Yeah, that shuttle Reaver gets completely zoned out of the main base. Oh, he's going to try and fly in with the speed. There are 2 turrets here, though. Is he going to lose it? Oh, he loses it!
Look! Oh, I'm shocked he actually went for that. With 2 turrets shooting, that's actually really risky to go for. I don't think he should have done that.
I don't think he knew about the 2nd turret. This is a clutch turret right there. He saw that first one in the mineral line and thought that he could run by that no problem. He took some initial damage though earlier, and so he ends up losing the Reaver shuttle there for free. Nothing traded, and now gonna immediately take this 4th base. Really prudent, smart play here from Flash to go ahead and snag that the moment he grabs that advantage. Now running up with some Dragoons, trying to kill a tank. He gets 1 tank, but trades out 4 goons here over at the 3rd. That is a rough trade for Rain. Here comes a couple of shuttles. He's going to dive bomb on top of these tanks. No vultures with this. A few vultures going to be moving forward now, but this is going to be broken here, it looks like. Goons coming in. This is a perfect bust here from Rain, so really making up from those earlier losses.
Yeah, I feel like he was trying to draw the army to the right-hand side with the goons, and was really trying to target this base as his lane of attack, but wanted to first make sure that Flash wasn't committing too many units to this side. But Flash actually looks like he's doing a pretty good job of holding right now. He needs to be careful he doesn't lose these tanks coming around the top-hand side. I'm actually kind of surprised that Rain didn't just try and jump on top of those 3 tanks there, because I feel like he could have killed at least 2 of those.
Yeah, instead gonna back off, allowed this command center to finish. He killed like 4 or 5 tanks here. Not having any support for them turned out to be a really painful decision for Flash. They were nicely spread out and everything, but only 1 turret was just on the edge of completion before that attack came in, and Rain hit the perfect timing. He crushed a bunch of tanks. He doesn't stop the base, but resetting that tank count anytime is very, very important. And now he's going to be sharking around the outside. What is going on this map? Tell me, Shin.
Okay, so we've got 3 shuttles loaded up with a lot of zealots right now. So we're going to be seeing a little bit of a shuffle around the map right now, as Rain is going to try and find the opportune moment to strike. And it might be in a heartbeat, because he might just dive in onto this natural 3rd right here, right now, with zealots on the move command to drag the mines into the tanks and the shuttles to start dive bombing on top of the tanks. Here come the shuttles now, unloading the zealots on top of there. But there's a lot of vultures that's come to soak this up, and not too many tanks next to mines. So that's actually pretty good defense from Flash thus far, but there's so many Dragoons coming for this northern threshold. He's going to be able to trade off some of these tanks, but so far beautiful hold from Flash, not allowing any cost-efficient trade from Rain so far, and maintaining a decent supply count. And actually starting to come out a little bit back behind on supply is Flash, but not too significant. It's actually pretty well done for Flash, but he's going to be running into some storms now. Rain continuing the pressure here. Some Psionic storms start being laid down onto this Terran mech units, and the goons coming in to try and finish the job and snipe some more of these tanks, reducing the tank count further. It's going to be really painful for Flash. It's going to be really difficult for him to secure this natural 3rd and the 6 o'clock position with a low tank count.
That was a little bit greedy from Flash, trying to push forward with unsieged tanks. If he had just sieged up there, he wouldn't have lost so much to those storms and Dragoons at the end of that trade. Another base going up here at the 12 o'clock now for Rain. His economy is getting massive, but he's sticking on just this pure shuttle style. He does not have a follow-up for this. 2 more shuttles coming down to the bottom center now for Rain. He's going to try and break through there, just dropping off a couple zealots to kill a turret or two, but actually saving that turret. No, the turret goes down. A lot of turrets, though, in this position. He's really ready for any sort of mass shuttle play coming into this location.
Yeah, I think Flash wants to simplify the game state by doing a big push here, but it's going to be really dangerous to attack up into this natural third against this many storms and this many shuttles. And it looks like now Flash out of position, all his vultures on the right-hand side of the map, and now Rain going to be coming down to these exposed siege tanks. 3 shuttles loaded up with zealots, going to be starting to load up huge zealot bombs on top of these tanks, and some psionic storms going to be following it up as well as the training High Templars come in and start laying down those huge spells onto these Terran units and starting to mop up this big Terran ball that once was, now is no more, as Flash starts to lose more and more units. Rain being very cost efficient at the moment, currently racing ahead in supply by at least 50, 77 probes to 71 SCVs. We have 2-1 upgrades for the Terran and only +1 for the Protoss, but +2 just about to finish, which will keep him in line with the Terran upgrades for the time being. But Flash so far doing a good job of fighting this back, but it might not be enough, because with this 12 o'clock base coming along for Rain, his production is going to continue to grow more and more, and he's able to stymie the pushes of Flash.
Loses that science vessel as well. That's annoying. I don't think he really even got a spell off with that unit. Really going up to a massive tank count now though. Flash, his production is in full swing with these 4 bases, and he could potentially take this base in the bottom left as well. It just needs to turret this up really well, and he is gonna float a command center. I almost said flash a command center over here, but couple of shuttles gonna come in and harass this location. He's not gonna let that go up easily. Oh, probe count, a probe transfer here getting demolished as it's sent up towards that top center. He's even gonna track these down and get some more kills on these probes. Really good play there by Flash just to slow down the economy here for Rain slightly.
Yeah, these two shuttles down at the bottom could be a big threat to Flash. There's 4 High Templars waiting in one of these shuttles for this SCV transfer. Here it comes now. He's ready to start storming this army, dive bombing on top of the tanks with the Zealots. Here come the storms on the SCV train trying to evacuate, blanketing. Luckily for Flash, that wasn't actually too effective and didn't kill all the SCVs, but did do a lot of damage to those siege tanks. Good effort from Rain there, but didn't probably get the exact result he wanted from that.
No, these SCVs are going to be transferred back. They are still very low HP, though. Here comes that storm. Where's it going to go? There we go. Getting a few more kills. Nicely done. It's still 65 SCVs, though, overall for Flash.
Yeah, still looking pretty strong. This natural third is going to be mined out for Flash shortly, so we'll be reduced back down to 2 base worth of production once the natural is also mined out. So Flash does need to keep growing, and this base on the left is going to keep him in the game for the time being, but he's still going to be behind in production for a little while. Another storm drop coming into this natural third, but the High Templar is just dying right away to the vultures. A little bit of a mistimed attack there from Rain as the Zealots start to stream out up the ramp and get on top of these tank positions, while the huge Goon army starts to fight some small pockets of the Terran force that's currently scattered between these 2 bases. So right now Rain kind of trying to cut off reinforcements to this base on the left-hand side and trying to fight the Terran army in piecemeal bite-sized chunks that he can handle, rather than having to deal with the whole Terran mech army all at once.
You're doing a great job of that as well. It's time for Flash to set up a line of tanks here in the middle of the map and really like choke off this whole entire section here so that Rain can't easily dive in onto this base. Looks like Rain gonna come around the right hand side, maybe go for the third right now, but this is the lowest mining. Only a tiny amount of minerals at each one of these patches remains, and the refinery is mined out, so I don't mind losing this base here as Flash. It really doesn't matter that much. Floating that command center away here shortly, probably going to be the answer. He's diving forward, going to lose a bunch of units here, trying to break this spot for almost no gain. I don't know about this play from Rain.
Yeah, it's actually a questionable play. I think it worked out for him because there was almost nothing committed to defend it, but the gas is already depleted, the minerals have already been mined. It's not really a big pick-off for him. Really, the only thing he's doing is shutting down the scanner being made, and there's no arbiters. So it didn't really get a whole lot done. He's lucky that there wasn't more units committed to defending that, because it would have been a really fruitless effort for him.
Flash is reaching the very pinnacle of the late game here with 3-2 upgrades done and nearly maxed out as well. We're going to see a big unsiege here shortly, and moving forward, actually removing that defensive position for Flash is kind of helpful for him now, because he can mobilize his entire army to fight. Here comes a big storm drop into the 4th base once again. He's going for it. 5th base, excuse me. Kills a few SCVs, but not the massive damage that he was probably looking for. Still 52 SCVs on the field here for Flash. Having those vultures in this position really helping him out a lot to gun down those Templar as they're popping out and getting their first couple of storms. So looks like Rain moving around the right hand side once again, looking for a location to attack. He's chomping at the bit right now to do some sort of damage, because he's got a huge bank and he's got a maxed out army, so wants to take a fight here now, going towards the natural. Let's see if he can get any damage done.
Yeah, it's beautiful storms going to be coming out in these huge clumps of vultures. It's one of the hardest things to do as Terran, is control your army once you've got it, and seeing a little bit of issues there from Flash, not quite getting his army active in time to avoid taking too much damage to those storms. But Rain wisely going to be backing out there, definitely shouldn't be overstaying his weapon. Look at the size of this army from Flash. If he can somehow force the Protoss to fight him head on, it will be Flash's game. But the thing is that Rain can outmaneuver him in the middle of the map and keep refilling his supply with these additional rally points at the 12 o'clock position. He's got another 7 gateways up there, and a bunch of gateways in his main as well. So as long as he can keep just whittling down the force of the Terran to a nub while macroing out and remaxing out, it's going to be really tough for Flash to deal with that. But Flash desperately needs to get a base online, and for some reason it seems like Rain thought it was appropriate to try and take a Nexus there. I don't know if that was a psychological Nexus. I don't think he had any hope of taking this base himself, but certainly a bit of an interesting choice here from Rain.
Yeah, Flash, I don't know about trying to move over to this side. I feel like moving the entire army would be good together as a big group here. Maybe go for the natural. Now, Rain sensing some weakness over on this left side. He's going to bring his entire army here running through these mines. Not really working out great for him, but he's got so many storms. He's going to be blanketing storms on all of this army. However, we've got vultures here to start picking these off, and storms are thrown down on top of the Templars themselves. So not the greatest here, dropping down to 128 supply, whereas Flash is still 170. That attack was so bad for Rain.
That was catastrophic for Rain there. He basically just threw most of his advantage in this game, and now he's going to have to race ahead in time to try and remax. But Flash is not going to give him that time. We're just going to see the Terran army roll out now and start hitting these expansions. This is the trigger that Terran was looking for. He's been passive this entire game, waiting for the moment to strike, and Rain just gave it to him on a silver platter. And you give someone like Flash a bit of rope, and he's going to hang you with it. So now we're going to see Flash putting on as much pressure as he can to start taking out some of these expansions. He might not go all the way to this natural in the top right, because he might not want to stretch himself too thin, but taking out this base in the top right is a big blow to Rain.
Yeah, Rain, he didn't deny the base in the center right, and he didn't crush the army here on the left side. So his options right now are severely limited. He is just trying desperately to remax here as quickly as possible, and he has done so. Back up to 190 supply. He needs to get his army together and challenge Flash here somewhere on the map, whether it be in the center right or maybe down to the bottom left once again. Loses a base in the top right, though. His position has deteriorated vastly, but it's still a position. He's still got a chance here. Maybe if he can crush a major army from Flash, he could retake his advantage in this game. Another base could be thrown down here at the sort of false high ground here in the middle of the map for Rain. He can try and retake that top right. Now he's going to go for a big attack here into all of these tanks. Great zealot bombs on top of a lot of this. Tons of tanks are not actually sieged up, and they're really bunched for these storms. Great storms here from Rain, killing so many of these tanks, and he's jumping forward with the Dragoons. It looks like he's going to break this position. Wow.
That's stunning. Like, really well executed. He basically, I can't believe that in the same game we saw such a botched attack on the left-hand side and such a well-executed attack on the right-hand side. I think maybe he plays better on the right-hand side of the map. You know, if you could analyze the heat map of this, I think we'd see a lot more success on the right-hand side. But yeah, shutting down this base in the right is a big blow to Flash here. Not only did he get most of his army just absolutely obliterated, but now there's no way he can secure this base. So Rain going to be taking a positional advantage in this game yet again. He is currently mining only on 3 bases, but it's going to be taking that mineral only that got taken out earlier and the top right position yet again to try and ramp up a little bit more income for him. He's currently maxed against Flash's 140 supply, only 40 SCVs though. There's another storm drop in the bottom left base, killing more and more SCVs down to 35. So really crippling Flash here is Rain.
Yeah, that was like 12, 15 SCVs that got picked off there in that storm drop. So a great trade for Rain, going for those drops over and over again, even though there's like, what is this, 5 turrets on the left hand side, 6 turrets here. Gonna go for it again, gonna try and get another storm, and he will get amazing storms on these SCVs. So many of them going down here. Oh my god, down to just 19
SCVs.
GG.
That's insane. GG.
Oh god. Analyzing that replay, man, Flash was so far ahead. He was in such a good position after killing that base in the upper right. Now, once again, Rain gonna stick around here after the game is over just to bask in the victory here. Finally does leave the game, and guys, we're going on to game number 3 between Rain and Flash. Get hype, boys. We're going. Moving on into game number 3 here with Flash spawning in the top right-hand corner. His opponent, Rain, down in the bottom left. And it looks like we're going to get a gas steal, as you do here as Protoss versus Terran on this map. Eclipse. This is going to be a rough one.
Yeah, and usually that's not going to... Flash wouldn't usually mind that. He likes the bunker expand. But interestingly enough, this time around, he's taking the gas at 10 supply. So... this is usually the kind of timing you take gas if you want to do a really fast proxy factory, but instead he's taking it just so that he can deny the gas steal. But that is going to really hamper his SCV production in the early games. That will be giving Rain a little economic edge here to deny that gas steal.
I don't know about that too much. I think, yeah, there is that difficulty with, you know, you're not going to be able to build that extra SCV as quickly, but we do have this probe that was sent all the way across the map at a very early timing, and it's not going to be able to get done the job that it was supposed to do. Of course, it is doing a lot of harassment here and actually forcing a couple of SCVs to be traded out onto this barracks to actually get it done. So pretty good making up for that early economic boon. Oh no, SCV goes down. Nicely done. Picking out that low HP SCV and finishing it off. That is definitely a big win here for Rain.
Oh yeah, it's crazy that he got that SCV, and someone of Rain's caliber who has that like higher tier of micro can really frustrate Terran players, especially if you're really not on top of your game. So unfortunately, Flash does take another hit to his SCV count, now down to 14 to 17 until this next SCV pops out. So a little bit rough for him here. Being down the SCV from having to make the early gas, and then being down a further SCV from losing to the probe, it's going to be a little bit rough for Flash going forward.
What am I looking at right now? We have air attack on the way.
I think it's just a fake.
A fake?
I think it's just it was just going to be a fake range in case the SCV scout came in at that time. So he didn't. But yeah, definitely isn't going to be going for that.
Yeah, the SCV was not coming in. You can definitely start that upgrade as the SCV is running in, and it will probably be fine. That's a little bit funny there, but Rain does cancel that upgrade, and he gets this Nexus going here at a quick timing. Of course, it doesn't cost anything to cancel an upgrade, so really not any sort of problem there for Rain. Got the Goon here on the ramp, just going to be chilling, making sure that we don't get any scouting information here on the side of Terran. And Robo is on the way now in the Protoss main base. He's going to be going for probably a similar build to that last game, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think he will deviate too much from that here. There might be some small adjustments because it's Eclipse, but I imagine we'll see more or less the same thing. Probe going to be taken up by the first Vulture of Flash. Then he's going to run it back a little bit and then go out with it. So Rain not going to be able to identify exactly the path it's going to pick or whether or not it did commit out onto the map. So going to be trying to keep these Dragoons in the wall and on the ramp for as long as possible by having this Vulture out on the map, his Flash.
So it's fine. I never was able to see that before with the Vulture, that there's a little dude sitting on top of it. I always thought it was a completely contained unit there, but it is definitely a bike. Now that we can see in remastered, kind of funny that little red man sitting on the top there of that unit. I think that's like one of the only times you actually see a human in this game, right? Besides civilian.
The turret. There's a little man in the turret as well.
Really? There's a man in the turret. I've never seen that. That's
I mean,
so
he must
funny.
be getting motion sickness, man. I mean, spinning around in the turret all day. I mean, like, he must have to train for that stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh man, that's crazy. We've got a Vulture attempted run by here into the natural, but it appears that Rain is not interested in getting out on this map, instead being completely safe here. Gonna sit in the natural, waiting for his range to finish. An observer has finally popped out here. Gonna be sent directly across the map. Rain playing very conservatively this game, and it's completely denying the potential for run-bys here because Flash went for that early speed. He went for mines. He's gained map control, but he's not able to get anything done really with this Vulture expand.
Yeah, as long as these Vultures stay alive, though, which they will, and the mines upgrade now finishing up, it's not too bad for Flash. I still think maybe this game is too hard to say who it favors. I feel like both our sides are pretty even with this Vulture expand. You kind of do want to make Vultures when the Dragoons are on their side of the map. You only really need to make tanks defensively. If you can confirm the Dragoons are still at home, then you know that it's okay to make Vultures. So I don't blame Flash for electing for this. You see a Stargate coming out from Rain, so maybe going to be rushing right on into Arbiters.
All right, Stargate is coming up here. The +1 has begun for Flash. Just 2 factories. You think he's gonna try and take a expansion off of 2 factories here? I can't imagine it on Eclipse.
I hope not. I hope not, because it wouldn't be a good decision. Although it might be in this situation, because I think we're going to be seeing like a 2-base carrier play or 2-base arbiter play. So in this, actually, yeah, I think it's going to be 2-base arbiter. Oh, it's 2-base carrier. Sorry.
2-base carrier. Oh my god. All right, Rain really mixing it up here, and either Flash needs to get that really fast 3rd base and power up into a super strong late game, or he needs to scan this and go for an attack immediately here in this game. He's already started an engineering bay, and a factory is coming up here. This is actually not a bad map for fighting against carrier in the early game. If you try to do an attack, you got a lot of tanks, a lot of Vultures. You can set up a ton of turrets in the natural and just entrench that position and make it impossible for the carriers to take a good trade. But here we go, a shuttle flying here into the main. It's got nothing in it. Nothing in here. Scouting shuttle.
Yeah, it's just, we've seen this time and time again. It's just to like keep the Terran in their base, keep them on their toes, maybe make them make a turret that they don't want to, and really it's just getting a bit of extra scouting information. It's not really accomplishing too much, but it does keep the Terran in their base. We can see some scans going down for Flash now, and he saw the carriers with the scans, so Flash is going to be able to start to react to this. He is getting more and more factories online, but it's only 4, so going to be some time before he can start getting a critical mass of Goliaths out to start dealing with this.
Yeah, and I think he's not even going to be interested in going for that Goliath transition. He hasn't started Goliath range at all, so that to me says that he's just going to build a bunch of tanks, a bunch of Vultures, and rely on turrets here at the natural to try and get this push going. He's going to try and get all the way here into the natural with turrets up before the carriers are out in numbers high enough to deny that. So I think this is the perfect timing here from Flash. Carriers are about halfway done. They still need to build interceptors too once they pop out, and the goon number is not that high. Flash is going around the bottom side as well. He's avoiding these Dragoons completely. He's gonna get right up here into the natural before Rain is even ready for this. This is perfect from Flash. He's gonna bring 3 SCVs along for that turret building. He probably should even bring more, actually, because if those turrets do get picked off, he's going to be in a bit of trouble. Here comes that dropship with the 4 vultures. He's going to try and bomb onto these tanks as much as possible, deal some damage. He hasn't killed any of them yet, but he's dealt a pretty significant, a significant amount of damage to them. There we go, another bomb doing tons of DPS to these tanks. He picks off one of them already. More turrets are coming up now, and tanks are going to shove forward here, getting in behind the mineral line as well. It's going to kill so many probes.
His position is absolutely fantastic for Flash from start to finish. He's really executed this flawlessly, the way he was hugging the cliff edge tightly and keeping his vultures on top of his tanks to snipe the zealots as they came out one at a time. Didn't get too much damage done onto his tanks from those zealot bombs. Do now see these dragoons kind of zoned out from coming in to defend. There is a observer coming up to detect the mines that are cutting them off right now, but Flash is already targeting down this nexus. And it might be too late for him to save this nexus. At the very least, going to be down to 1 base weapon mining. The first 2 carriers forced to come out early and start putting out some DPS onto these tanks. There is 2 turrets with a 3rd one going up currently, but yeah, like you said, maybe not enough SCVs. If we had maybe 1 or 2 more SCVs, it might have been a bit quicker getting these turrets set up, but so far going to be breaking all through all of these tanks and putting on the pressure and starting to deal with these units. But actually not a lot of infantry left over for Rain, just these 4 dragoons. So as long as Flash doesn't make any missteps here, I feel like he can really put the hurt on Rain here.
I don't know, man. He's lost all of those tanks. Yeah, not bringing up the SCVs turned out to be a real big blunder, because he didn't have enough to build turrets and repair. A lot of those tanks went low from the early drops there with the zealot bombs, and they get picked off super easy by the flanking force now with just a tiny army here at the front. 2 tanks and 1 Goliath, a few more coming up here to support. Tanks are going to run forward and try to break this nexus once again, but I think he's just barely not going to be able to do it. Oh, actually more tanks arrive. Oh, this is so close. Oh, the final carrier's going down. He's done it.
He's done it. Flash has killed both the carriers now, and he's going to kill the nexus. GG.
Wow. Snags a game off of Rain there. I really thought he was going to hold. The zealot bombs were insanely good. The flank with the dragoons killed all the tanks, but that position was just way too strong from Flash.
Yeah, with the turrets already set up there and the rallied units coming across the map, it was definitely going to be a dead nexus at the very least.
And with that nexus falling, Flash takes the first victory of this series. Guys, we're going to go on to game number 4 that's coming right up. And we are back. Flash versus Rain. The series continues here with Flash spawning in the bottom left, Rain over here in the bottom right. It is once again on Neo Sylphid, and Flash is opening up the way he did almost every game against Snow in that series. Going ahead and throwing his barracks down at the natural. He's going to be going for a gaseous fast expand here.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. He really does like to do this. He has done in the past. There's no reason why he wouldn't now. I guess he also is identifying that this is a flat map, and maybe having this bunker expand might be good so that he can set up this little SimCity wall in the natural, prevent any early run-by shenanigans. And he has got a lot of experience under his belt of dealing with the early zealot pressures and stuff that you have to deal with when going for bunker expand. So he probably feels very confident in doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got a perfect little wall in here. It's going to allow 1 single gap for the Marine to pass through, and the Zealot will have to walk around. We'll see a bunker thrown down here shortly as well, but he should have a couple of Marines out here to deal with any harassment from those Zealots. And we're just going to have a Nexus being thrown down here for Rain. He's going to skip Cybernetics Core. He's not even mining gas. He took the gas. But once he spotted what was coming here from Flash, he just pulls off any probes from that, and he's going to go ahead and grab that Nexus now.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him. I think the sort of 23 Nexus is probably the bare minimal he needs to do to be greedy enough against the Zealot. Still trying to get something damage done. Gets one punch off on that Marine, but otherwise probably not going to get a lot done here. Pretty good control from Flash, not allowing too much to happen at the moment. But CC still hasn't started, only just now about to go down. So at least the Nexus was slightly ahead of the CC. One thing that Rain can consider a small victory here.
Yeah, and the second Zealot will arrive. Oh god, he's actually letting the Zealot get behind. Okay, actually picks off that first Zealot, so this is not too bad now. As long as he doesn't lose any of these Marines, he should be fine. Spreading these Marines out a bit, kiting around, and oh, just barely not going to take a hit on that one Marine. Get inside the bunker. He does manage to do so. Jumps in that bunker. He may end up losing an SCV on this command center, but another Zealot going to come in here. He needs to get back in that bunker once again. Good splitting here from Flash. Not even losing a single Marine yet, but I think this last one is about to get tracked down. It does fall. Looks like with a bit of blocking here, he will not allow that Zealot into his main base. One more Zealot here. Does get one last punch, but gets picked off. Really, really good play here from Flash. Very calm under pressure. Picks off all three of those Zealots with only losing a single Marine.
Yeah, he's done this thousands of times over the course of his career. So this is like his bread and butter, doing these kind of like early game optimized defenses and microing the Marines back and forth. He's really used to doing it, so he's able to maintain his composure and show us why he's so confident in going for this bunker expand in the first place. Exactly what I was saying earlier. So really nice stellar stuff from Flash, showing us that he still has got it to a certain degree.
Yeah, for sure. Able to hold on there. No small feat against a player the caliber of Rain. We'll be looking for every opportunity to damage those Marines with the Zealots. He's bringing one last Zealot forward here, but that's not really going to do any damage at this point. And I think we may end up seeing some Vulture expanding action coming down here for Flash. Just going to start off with a couple of Vultures. He knows his opponent doesn't have many Dragoons at this moment, so he will have to play defensively. What's this out on the map? A starport being built over here near 12 o'clock.
Yeah, it's going to be a Vulture drop, saying, and he might get away with it. I also feel like Rain should be able to sniff this out. I'm actually kind of shocked that we're not seeing this diligent probe that we've seen in games past, where it's checking around the map for plays like this, like making sure both factories are in the main base, make sure there's no cheeky starport out on the map. So a little bit surprised that Rain's not going for that more diligent scouting around the map with a probe, just to make sure that nothing's coming out here from Flash.
He is going to send Dragoons in two opposite directions now. Going to be looking for Vultures on the map, checking to see if he can spot any proxied buildings as well. He's not really going to find anything though, and I doubt he'll search up towards this 12 o'clock. Vultures are researching the mines right now. Mines are almost done. The speed is just about done as well, so that's going to come up very soon, and he's going to get some pretty good damage with this drop, I believe. Looks like one Vulture is going to go down though before the drop occurs. He's probably going to pick off this Dragoon, but he may end up losing a second Vulture. That would be painful. No, manages just barely to keep that alive. Shuttle flying into the main is in fact a decoy. Nothing inside of that. Just going to be scouting out and getting more information here. He sees the two factories, and I don't think this is going to make him suspicious that there may be a Vulture drop on the way, but who knows, maybe he's sniffing this out right now.
Yeah, I mean, he sees the engineering base a little bit on the later side. He's trying to kind of maybe piece it together in his head, but he didn't really see the natural. There could be an armory already up in the natural as well. It could be two armories right now. He doesn't know exactly what Flash is doing, so it might be a little bit tricky for him to sniff it out. And in fact, it looks like Flash is already going to be going into the main base now, and I don't think there's anything in position to deal with this. There's a shuttle, but that's not going to help against the Vultures. There's a couple of three Dragoons in the natural that are now starting to come in to try and help, but lots of probes being mowed down by these four Vultures. Fragmentation grenades making short work of those. Going to be starting to lay mines in the choke point as well, making it a little bit of a tricky order for these Dragoons to come into the main base and secure this mining again. So a lot of lost mining time there. Even if he's not killing a lot of probes right now, he's still only mining on one base for quite some time, trying to get around the main base and deal with these Vultures, which are being super annoying right now. A couple of Vultures going to be coming into the natural as well to see if they can bully off this one Dragoon that's currently plugging the hole, to maybe get some more further economic damage in the natural as well. Flash trying to micro on two fronts here to try and see if he can exploit anything and probe for weaknesses, but so far Rain doing a good job denying him any probe kills.
He could make a dash into the natural here and get quite a few probes. Coming down to the third base, not going to find anything there, but this is a long time that these probes have been denied mining. Oh, nice block there. Beautiful. With the vulture, just barely stopping that from going into the natural.
Yeah, beautiful play from Rain there. Doing such a phenomenal job of stopping these vultures getting too much done. Currently, even on workers, now Rain with a slight lead of 38 to 47 SCVs, which actually does kind of still favor Flash in a lot of regards. These vultures have been denying a lot of the optimization of the mineral smoothing here. So, and only just now is Rain starting to send probes to mine efficiently at his third base and starting to get things set up back in his main. So, pretty good damage, I would say, from Flash there.
Important to note here that Reaver took it appears to be a mine hit after popping out of the robotics facility. So really cool play there, having the vultures that are doing that harassment damage drop just one mine next to the robotics facility to deal that damage. Now that Reaver is going to be softened up for any later game harass. That's going to make clearing that out a lot easier in the main base if Rain does indeed go for that play.
Yeah, meanwhile, we are going to be having Flash wanting to take his third base really soon. The third command center will be done shortly. And there's not a lot of Protoss infantry currently, especially when he's worried about potential follow-up vulture drops. That's why we still see the Dragoons positioned in the main base and some other units positioned in the natural as well to prevent any run-bys. So right now, Rain will be a little bit on the more passive side and defensive, which is allowing Flash to come down here and take his third, more or less uncontested. This dropship alone basically pinning the units of Rain down because he just so desperately doesn't want to lose any more probes than he has to.
Now this third base is incredibly fast, just off of 2 factories once again, with the third and fourth finishing up only just moments ago. Already landing that command center is fantastic for Flash's late game here. Of course, this base here not gonna last that long. It does have small amount of minerals, only 1,000 on the minerals and 1,500 on the gas, so it won't last long, but it's gonna be a huge boon to his economy here while it does last.
Yeah, 1,500 gas will last you 5 minutes because you basically mine at a rate of 300 gas per minute, just 100 gas per minute per worker, and 3 workers makes it 300. So yeah, that's about 5 minutes worth of gas there. It's a good boon to your economy, but you can't rely on it. You need to get that 4th gas online because that will be running out quite shortly after you do take it. So quite right about that saying. We do see actually a nice little Wraith here from Flash. He floated over that starport, landed it at his Mineraloni and the top left, and they made a Wraith to help counter this more shuttle-centric style that we see that Rain likes to do so much, more the gateway man with the shuttles and Templars. So already kind of trying to set himself up to counter this style of Rain. Plenty of turrets also warding away those 2 shuttles from getting into the main base just now. So yeah, it looks like a Flash already making some adjustments in his play to try and deal with the modern meta.
Yeah, mines here, turrets here. Diving in with 2 shuttles would be suicidal for Rain at this moment, so he's just gonna back away, hold off with these shuttles, maybe wait for a 4th base to come up for Flash and try to break that instead. The third is looking pretty strong, only 2 turrets here right now, but with the Wraith and the 2 Goliaths, that's gonna be a tough location to break through. Looks like he may end up trying it though. Here we go, sending in the 2 shuttles to start things off. No, the moment that he sees those Goliaths, gonna back away, and a 4th and 5th base are coming up here for Rain, over here in the center right and over in the top right as well.
It just goes to show you how potent a single Wraith and a couple Goliaths can be, that it already dissuades the Protoss from even wanting to crack that base for the time being, and that's why just making a single Wraith and a few Goliaths can be so potent, not just by shutting down the speed shuttle play, but also by sniping observers and denying the map vision from the Protoss player that he needs to make these decisions on when he should and shouldn't attack.
Yeah, we've seen recently players building up to like 3, even 4 Wraiths in the current meta of the speed shuttle style, able to counter that, just putting them onto a hotkey with an SCV that's trapped and using them kind of like mutas to shoot down the shuttles as they come in. That's just how powerful the speed shuttle style is right now, that players have had to adjust to that level. Even adding Wraiths in again, like mass Wraith, not quite mass, but you know, 3-4 raids into their play just to shut down that play because it's so strong.
It is so strong. Oh, by the way, Sen, we have 11 gateways to 8 factories right now, so I'd actually say this is even though the supplies look pretty Protoss favored right now, I would say this is still an okay game for Flash right now. He's got, as long as he doesn't make any missteps in these following moments, because right now he's trying to spread himself a little bit too thin, and it looks like Rain wants to take this opportunity to pounce. He's got 2 shuttles loaded up with Storm and Zealot bombs. Looks like he's going to try and land these now and try and blanket this army with Scarab shots and Zealots. He has actually exposed the High Templars to Flash here. I'm not sure Flash even knows there's High Templars in that shuttle, so might be a little bit too brave later on and then be surprised by the Sonic Storms in a moment too.
Wow, just crushed through that army there. And yeah, he does have 2 Sonic Storms ready to go at a moment's notice here in that shuttle. And it looks like now that moment has arrived. He's going to fly in once again, dropping out the Zealots. Here comes the Storms, gonna throw down 1 on some of those tanks. He gets another on some Vultures, but eventually is pushed back. Flash will not be denied. He's gonna push ahead here. Oh, this is a little bit dangerous. Don't go that far out, Flash. It's time to maybe pull back.
Well, right now he has 2-1 upgrades, and the Protoss is 2-1 is on the way, and Flash actually is ahead in weapons upgrades in that sense. So for the time being, Flash is actually in a pretty okay spot as long as he doesn't get his army caught out. He's going to be floating his command center over to his mineral, only getting up to 4 base worth of economy. Just like Rain's going to try and get some harassment done still. He has got this shuttle flying around with 3 speed zealots and a High Templar inside, so maybe waiting for the SCV transfer to come so we can try and get some Sonic Storm damage down on that SCV train. Another high Sonic Storm in the 3rd base of Flash, taking out quite a few of those SCVs. Not quite as many as he probably hoped, but any kind of damage to the Terran economy right now is crucial.
Yeah, a lot of those SCVs badly bruised. That other drop coming in at the 4 o'clock. Just gonna drop 1 Zealot there, waiting for that SCV transfer, but a Goliath gonna find the shuttle and pick it off. There, it does go down. So denying any further damage here. Flash is securing his side of the map. It's a dangerous position for the Protoss to be in when Flash gets these bases up and running.
Yeah, right now it doesn't look like Flash is super strong, but if Flash can maintain his position currently in the middle of the board, so to speak, he has this gas expansion available to him that's already defended. So he's already created a lane of reinforcement to this area, kind of playing it more like a TVT at the moment, and now that'll enable him to get another gas online, which he so crucially needs, because this mineral only, this natural third is already about to be mined out because it's coming up onto that 5-minute mark of him having it. So he really desperately needs this fourth gas coming out, and he's just about to get it. And I think it's a great positional play from him to take the center of the board like this.
Scan goes down in the main base for Rain. He sees that 3 Dragoons are unfortunately trapped at that location. He's going to try and break the 3rd here. Once again, going in with the Storms and Zealot bombs. A couple of Storms go down on these tanks. They're going to remove them from the board. A lot of Zealots moving up here, but Vultures unmasked, going to be crushing through this supply here. At the same time, another attack going on in the top center. That's not going to do very well, though. A huge amount of crushed blue army, blue goo all over that battlefield. He's still going to try and push forward. 1 more tank kill. Can he get it? He does get that last tank kill. Looks like he'll sacrifice all his goons for that pleasure. The supply dropping really heavily here for Rain, but he knows that at this moment's not the time for Flash to move out. He can throw away armies like this for now. And still be okay, because Flash has to build up his army. He's got to get this next base mining. He can't really be affording to go across the map at this moment.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting situation. It might be that Flash still tries to use this as a trigger to put on some pressure, though, because if he can get on top of the rally point where there's like some High Templars and Zealots, they don't fare well against pure Vulture. So if he can get on top of these rally points right this second, maybe he could punish Rain, but the window is closing on him. He doesn't necessarily need to push right now, but he could put on a lot of pressure with these Vultures and start sniping some critical units before the more Dragoons can be rallied out for Rain.
Yeah, I feel like a missed opportunity here in this game and in several of the other games. Flash had the option. Oh god, here comes a big storm drop at the top left. Tons of SCVs go down. Ouch, that was a great storm drop. But what I was saying before, missing the opportunity to come in here with the vultures and kill some of these Templars, as you were saying, that is a critical task for the Terran. Limiting the number of storms is super important, and these are all exposed units, not enough Dragoons to keep them safe. So Flash not making those moves, he may pay for that later.
Yeah, he's also allowed the Protoss player to remax, so he did lose any window he had of doing some kind of damage to him. They didn't necessarily need to push, but could have done something. Here we go again. Now looks like Rain going to be coming into this position yet again with some nice, beautiful storms going on these forward tanks. There is now a science vessel, but not yet EMP or energy ready. There will be a D-Matrix in a few seconds, but right now it looks like we're going to be getting on top of all these tanks in the back line with some beautiful psionic storms, but there's just so many tanks here. So it looks like Rain eventually is going to try and pull away and not lose too many of his units, but he's trying to commit a lot of forces to this, but I'm not sure it's the best place for him to attack into with it already being almost mined out. A little bit questionable position for him to attack. I guess what he really wants to do is open up the rally point of the Terran player to be exposed, which is why he wants to take out this fortification for the time being.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting him going in on this over and over again. A drop gonna come on down. See if he can get another storm. No. Shut down by the vultures on the ground here. Looks like Flash moving up towards the top center, sensing weakness now. A lot of the army has been bled off here by Rain, and he's gonna possibly lose this base, maybe even lose the top center main. That could be a killing blow for Rain, so he'll have to pull together, cobble together some defense, try to break this Terran army, which is threatening these bases.
Yeah, he's currently making a lot of Zealots and High Templars in this 12 o'clock base to try and defend it with storms, but he might not have enough to do it. There's a big force trying to meet the Terran army in the middle right now, but what he's really trying to do is just try and keep the Terran pinned down in the middle as long as possible so that he can't get his whole army up here to kill this base. And now the reinforcing Zealots coming out of the gateway is able to start clearing up this contain. Flash in return going to be sending up some vultures up there to try and keep the pressure on. Meanwhile, looks like Rain also going to be wanting to send out another force of infantry to this third base that's already mined out. It looks like he's going to be now thinking better of it and shuffling his army back around the map once again. If he can just hold on to this 12 o'clock base and keep this rally point alive, it's going to be crucial for him in dealing with Flash. But right now, I would say Flash is in a very commanding position.
Yeah, another base going to come down here for Rain in the bottom left, but critical damage if he loses the base in the 12 o'clock. This is a ton of gateways, ton of production here. He's going to be dropping storms on top of these tanks. Really good defense so far, clearing out a lot of that. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, a big attack going on. Lines of tanks being crushed, but huge amounts of blue blood littering the field as well. Going to clear out these last few Zealots, and Flash holds the middle, critically holding this middle area and pushing in onto the 12 o'clock base. Flash is moments away from closing this out. Can Rain find a way to bring it back?
There's a streamline of 10 speed zealots coming in from the southern threshold to try and reinforce this position at the 12 o'clock, but there is enough vultures here to deal with this, so it's going to be really tough for him to hold on to this base for much longer. More and more tanks now streamlining across the map to try and just take this base out right here, right now. I don't think Rain is going to be able to get out enough reinforcements to get up here and deal with it.
Rain is starting to dry up here. He's got no probes up at the 12 o'clock. He has some drops, but nothing inside of these shuttles, so he cannot clear the tanks that are here. He can't clear the tanks that are being reinforced either. Maybe a counterattack from Rain might be the only last option. He's gonna expand down to the bottom left as well. That probe transfer is making its way down here, but Rain is really struggling. At least he managed to keep the Nexus over there at the top right alive. It lost its shields, but it still is up. Has 3 cannons to defend it, so maybe he can keep that going for now. But you gotta wonder, how can Rain win this with the top center being destroyed? He is gonna give that, cede that over to Flash now, and with half the map and more being controlled by Flash, he should be able to win in a long game.
Yeah, from this position, he can start to strangle the Protoss out of the game. It's going to be really tough for Rain to win from. here, but he's going to make an effort of it anyway. He's going to try and see if he can get up here and get on top of these tanks and see if he can get some good storms. Maybe he can make something work. The Terran is spread a little thin, but the problem is that we are also dried up, so we're not able to produce that 200 army that we need to just squash the Terran. Currently, like, actually behind in supply, so it's extremely hard for us to fight cost efficiently as Protoss here.
Protoss snagging the bases that remain on the map. He's going to go ahead and grab that low money base more towards the center here. It's hard to defend, but he's kind of at the end of his rope here. Doesn't have much left on the map to snag, so he will be grabbing that base, trying to saturate that with only 48 workers, though. All the workers have gone down in the top center and the top right as well. These two bases were picked off, so not much income going in favor of Rain right now. He's going to bring up some Templar to try and storm the mines. A bit of a desperation move here. So many Templar in this army. There's almost more Templar than there are Zealots at this point.
Yeah, which is kind of why he's storming the mines. He realizes he hasn't even got enough Zealots to move command through the minefield. So in a bit of a desperation, going to be trying to storm some of those to clear them up, to maybe have some hope at breaking through this huge open map contain that he's currently being locked out of the rest of the map from. He's going to be able to take this natural third, like you said, but being locked out of all these bases on the north side of the map is going to basically be a positional win for Flash. We do have a couple of High Templars in a shuttle trying to drop behind the natural third at the 12 o'clock, seeing if they can reach over the cliff edge to storm some SCVs.
Yeah, he managed to get quite a few SCVs with a couple of those storms, but it's not really going to matter too much for Flash at this point, who's maxed out. He's got 3-3. He's moving a big force down towards the bottom left. Although this is not the entirety of Flash's army, and the whole Protoss army is going to fall on this attack here. He's going to jump forward, try to kill as much as he can. Great D-Matrix is keeping these tanks alive for a very long time, and actually filing in a little bit single file. Rain is not going to take the greatest trade against this. You can see dropping down to just 136 supply, whereas Flash has only lost about 20 of his own.
Yeah, and that was only half of Flash's army, so it was actually kind of surprising that Rain didn't trade a lot better there. He kind of should have maybe been a little bit more patient with linking up with the rest of his forces to squash that all in one go, but was kind of trying to race against time to prevent Flash from reinforcing from the north or counterattacking. So instead, that kind of bit himself in the butt there, saying. So unfortunately for him, not going to be able to find much with that. And now Flash putting on the pressure, coming into his natural third, starting to gun down a lot of the probes and a lot of the units of Rain here. There is some really good storms going to be laying down onto these Terran units, softening them up, but there's just so many siege tanks in that back line. I don't think that Rain can break up through here. We do see some pretty good storms so far, but I don't think he's got enough infantry to follow it up.
No, the infantry has dried up here, and the tanks still do remain. He's going to start to pick off some of these Templar here on the high ground, the false high ground here. He's lost almost every single probe. Goons are coming up, but there's so much firepower behind this. Flash is breaking through. He's going to kill this base potentially. Oh, a nice storm there. Maybe killing off that one tank, but not getting the other one. Somehow managing to miss with that storm onto this one tank, and it is going to go to work on these probes. More probes going down on that high ground. GG is called. Rain taps out, and Flash is victorious. Bringing it back here in this long series, guys. We've got another game for you. We're going to jump right on in. All right, hopping into game number 5 here with Flash spawning in the bottom right. Rain here in the bottom left. The classic blue versus red. I didn't even change this, did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Alt-Tab is on. Never mind. It's orange versus red by Alt-Tab. Actually, that looks kind of cool. I like the orange color on Terran. How do you like it?
Oh, I think it's fantastic on Terran. In fact, orange used to be my favorite color on Terran for quite some time.
All right. Shun's favorite color. We're going to go with that. We've got this map. Which one is this? This is Vermeer here. So it's going to play out quite a bit different than that game on the Neo Sylphid, that couple of games on Neo Sylphid that we've seen so far.
Yeah, and it's nice to mix it up a little bit. I'm happy to see Vermeer as well, and this is definitely going to be a test of Flash in the sense of there's going to be no excuses now. This is a very fantastic Terran map. Even Artosis would begrudgingly admit it's the most fair Terran map, even if he doesn't want to admit that it's a little bit Terran advantaged. So, going to be a good one for Flash to get a good game on, I would hope.
Yeah, it's been a real struggle here against Rain so far, but he's managed to snag some wins. His confidence has got to be skyrocketed after that. Oh, almost losing that probe, almost losing that SCV as well. Now going to transfer it into the gas, going to heal it up a little bit in addition, making sure that he doesn't lose one of these early SCVs. Very, very important stuff. Rain being super annoying in the early game here, just constant harassment to the point where like multiple probe or SCVs have had to be pulled away here before the first Marine even pops out. Okay, thought that there was something crazy going on. That's the second supply depot. There's the factory.
Yeah, well, he did have to delay mining that gas for a little bit because of having to repair the SCV and chase the probe a little bit, so did slow down the timing of this factory quite significantly with that probe harass. So pretty big win, I would say.
Now gonna have to pull SCVs to the ramp here to keep this Zealot away from these Marines. Will need to pull away there. Nice job pulling away the SCV as it was taking that damage. She picked off the probe as well. Gonna lose that SCV on the factory, and now this is starting to snowball a little bit. As you said earlier, losing that or delaying that factory a little bit, and now delaying it even further here by killing off the SCV. This Zealot is going to run over into the corner, and a second Zealot is going to come in for the flank. This could be really hard for Flash to hold. He loses his first Marine. Second Marine is going to go down here. This is getting really, really bad for him now. A Vulture is on the way, but this is still a ton of damage.
Yeah, this is becoming a really untenable situation for him to come back from. I'm really surprised that he didn't try and throw down the depot next to the barracks, or at least have a wholly good micro into with these Marines. Bit of an oversight from him, especially having the factory delayed that long. So Vulture's only just now coming out. We'll start to clean up these Zealots, but damage has already been done to Flash, even if this Vulture does eventually deal with this. And it's going to take them some time to kill all three of these Zealots while they go to town on some of these SCVs, already starting to kill some of those. Does get a good surround on the other Zealots, so it takes that out. But another SCV goes down, now down to 18 SCVs, and behind this we do have 20 probes with another of a Nexus being thrown down, Dragoon range on the way, Dragoon on the way. So this is becoming a little bit of a sticky situation for Flash.
The Flash does have two Vultures now with the Marine. Gonna try and take this low ground here, try to get his Nexus going. It appears he wants to just chase down this Dragoon, try to get as much damage on it as possible. Almost loses the Vulture, but does manage to back away now. It's like the bunker gonna get thrown down, I think, before the command center, just because he doesn't have the muscle at the moment to hold back this Dragoon here. Two Vultures out on the map have some potential to get counter damage done if Rain does not have a Dragoon on his ramp, but this is really slowing down Flash a lot here. The command center going to have to be built on high ground, and that's going to have to float down. We're going to have probes in the natural before this command center is even done as well. Here we go, jumping up this ramp. He's going to kill a couple of these Marines and then back away.
Yeah, the tanks are still not going to be coming out anytime soon, so it's going to be really hard for him to get down in there and secure that natural. Just going to be calling GG, and I don't blame him. It's a very hard situation to play from here.
All right, Flash versus Rain, game number 6, with Rain spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, Flash in the bottom left. I have a remake here. I believe this is a Polypoid, though. So a little bit of a switch up. Yeah, not Vermeer this time. It is going to be Polypoid. But similar in that we do have horizontal spawns here, both players in the bottom part of the map. I hope we're not going to see a repeat of that last game, though. That was a little bit painful to watch.
Yeah, it was painful to watch. We're going to be having a bunker expand instead. It looks like playing similarly that he did on Sylphid. Going to be using the fact that he can make this barracks lined up with the command center to have a nice little SimCity choke here. Going to be doing more or less the same thing he did before, not wanting to go for that fast gas play this time around.
All right, and we've got 3 probes on the gas for our Protoss player. He's going to be looking to get into some earlier tech here. Maybe range, maybe a Robo before his Nexus goes down. Let's see what kind of damage he can do, because he has not seen the Terran player just yet. It's been this probe running around to all the wrong bases. Is finally going to make its way down to the bottom left after scouting up here. And that is going to be a pain in the butt for Rain. He has no idea what his opponent is doing right now.
Yeah, and that will make it a little bit suboptimal for him going forward. He'll probably be not able to take his Nexus quite as early as he will take, but soon he will identify and be able to make up more like a 23 Nexus timing, which is still pretty respectable, just not going to be giving him an edge against the bunker expand. Now the probe and Zealot going to be coming into the natural bunker, just about to finish up right as the Zealot gets there. So the Zealot actually can run around here, so the SCVs will have to come off the line to try and body block that and maybe get some damage done onto this SCVs into the main base if Flash isn't on top of its micro, getting on top of this Zealot.
Oh, taking a couple of hits here. Gonna have to back away once again. No losses so far on either side, but he could end up losing one of these Marines very quickly if he's not careful. The footsies here on the high ground, very annoying stuff from Rain. He will pick off that probe, and it looks like he's going to be able to take down the Zealot, losing only one Marine, so not too bad here from Flash. He's going to get his command center finished, and those SCVs transferred right away with 3 Marines in the bunker. He's going to be safe for now.
Yeah, and Rain only just now going to be throwing down his Nexus at 27 supplies, so really late Nexus timing from him. Flash already well on the way, mining in his natural before the Nexus is even starting, is definitely a sign of a very strong economic advantage for the Terran player for the time being, although we do see Rain with the tech advantage for the time being, so probably going to be throwing down that Robo or something soon.
Yeah, we'll be seeing a Robo here shortly, I imagine, and Rain will have to deal some damage with these goons. He'll have to get some of that repair bill forced out of Flash with the range now done. 3 Dragoons are going to be hitting this bunker shortly, and he should be able to deal quite a bit of damage here, force out quite a lot of repairing. 1 factory in the main. This is, in my mind, speaks to a possible starport coming down, but actually an armory is going to start immediately after this, so he's going to be going for just quick upgrades here, maybe going for some earlier Goliaths as well to hold off the eventual drops that are going to come through.
Yeah, but just the one factory means that this siege tank needs to not die, and there are 4 Dragoons here which can double volley down a siege tank, so it's going to be a little bit dicey for him. Flash is kind of playing with fire by doing this. He's being a little bit greedy by going for this kind of path of tech that he's electing for. It's extremely greedy. He's already ahead in the economy. Now he's trying to get a little bit ahead on the board and in the tech and upgrades game later on as well. Right now, kind of shuffling his SCVs in and out of the bunker, trying to get make sure that the goons, if they wanted to, could stop firing temporarily to force the SCVs to stop repairing and then keep shooting. But looks like that's none of those mind games are going to be happening for the time being. Looks like just forcing Flash to spend as much money as possible on protecting that bunker. Now, one of the issues that Flash now has is that with the comsat coming down, he actually has to lift off this barracks for the tank to come out to defend. So instead, he's gonna just wait for siege mode to finish and like siege up the tank on the cliff. So luckily for him, that's going to be just enough to hold off anything that Rain could do to him right now. But let's say if there was a really fast shuttle on the way right now, I think Flash could just die.
We don't have that shuttle coming out just yet. Instead, going for an observer here. I think the reason that Flash did this 1 factory play is because of the fact you can siege up on high ground and hit everything in the natural. There's no place that the Dragoons can stand and still hit the bunker with this tank not able to attack. So Flash metagaming out here on this map the best possible build. He's taken a large repair bill, but he's in a good spot now, I feel, and he's going to go right on into that Goliath place, getting the Charon booster upgrade immediately, skipping all pretense of going for some vultures. It's going to make him very limited in his scope of what he can do on the map, but he will have an extremely strong defense here against whatever Rain does to try and harass him in this game.
He's throwing down that command center at 7 minutes, which is very nice timing for him. And yeah, basically what he's been able to do is because he doesn't have to make an engineering bay, he's gone for this armory and academy. So he's got the scan, he's got the detection, he's got the Goliaths to kill the observers as well. So he is still safe to DTs because of the scanners, and it's made him so that he doesn't need to get this early engineering bay and turrets. And he's using those additional minerals that he's freed up from that to get this early command center and starting to set himself up really powerfully going into the mid game. Starport already on the way, now going to be throwing on additional factories as well. So Flash looking pretty phenomenal so far in terms of his build order optimization.
Yeah, his build is looking very good indeed. Now I'm going to be throwing down the engineering bay. This is a very late engineering bay. It will give him the opportunity to throw down turrets, though I think before the Reaver can make it across the map. I'm not sure on that though. The Reaver is about to pop now, and Gravitic Drive is now on the way here. We've got 3 Goliaths. The range on the Goliaths is done as well. So if Rain is not careful with this shuttle, he could end up getting picked off just immediately upon flying into the base.
And as we saw, Flash scanning and killing the observer makes that even more of a possibility. Now there's no observer to confirm the safety of the shuttle. So if Rain does decide to commit to the shuttle to the main base, suddenly he could be losing that in short order to these Goliaths that might be waiting in the wings. Although Flash is starting to move down the ramp right at the same time that the shuttle is getting ready to come into the main base as well. So this could be a little bit of bad timing for Flash.
Yeah, Flash moving out of the main right now. The turrets are not quite done. They are just about to finish. There we go. They are finishing up just in time. As the Gravitic Drive finishes up, though, the shuttle is going to speed ahead and falls away now from the main base. There are still locations where he can fly in. There's nothing here by the command center in terms of turrets, so he could fly in through this area and get down into the main base, but so far he hasn't spotted out that opportunity. Instead, going to be looking for an attack here at the front, focusing down the shuttles. He kills both of them very, very quickly, but the Reaver does get out of the shuttle and gets its shot off. Good targeting here by Flash onto the Dragoons rather than the Zealots, dealing quite a bit of damage to them. The Vultures are going to clean up the Zealots. The Dragoons are mostly hitting this barracks, and the barracks is actually going to die during this. So a huge amount of soaked damage from that barracks. Really clutch barracks floating there.
Yeah, one small thing that we can say is that now Flash has to remake the barracks to make factories, but he's not too concerned about that. He already has 5 factories, so that was actually really clutch, that barracks soaking up that many phase disruptor shots from those Dragoons. I actually think that position was winnable for Rain there if he committed to those siege tanks with those units. He didn't know exactly how many units were there in the back line though, because he didn't have observers crucially. Now going to be coming in for round 2, starting to pincer these tanks from the north, seeing if he can snipe one of them off, but isn't able to do so. Mine also takes out one of the Dragoons coming in from the right hand side, so a little bit of an unsuccessful assault here from Rain as a follow-up as well. So it looks like Flash is going to be getting this 3rd base online more or less uncontested for the time being.
3rd base is online for Flash. Rain has his 4th now, but he's lost a ton of Dragoons. He's gonna have to keep building those up. He's lost his Reaver as well without dealing any economic damage in this game. 58 SCVs are ready now for Flash. Some Dragoons heading to the south, maybe expecting some sort of counter drop here, but it's not coming. Flash has no interest in doing damage to Rain right now. Instead, he's going to be grabbing his 4th base immediately upon landing this 3rd.
Yeah, Flash is just going to keep exploding in his production at this rate, and I don't know if Rain can field a large enough army to deal with that. Right now, there's not a lot of tanks at this mineral-only expansion, though, so Flash does need to commit more forces down here to defend this. I don't think that we're going to see any attack from Rain for the time being, so Flash has got a little bit of a window here to set up and keep pumping out units. I'm pretty sure, though, soon Rain is going to want to be pulling the trigger on Flash, because I don't think he's going to be happy about letting the Terran get away with this kind of production early on.
Another shuttle coming in here. He's going to drop and go for the SCVs with this Reaver, dealing quite a bit of damage to the Reaver. He takes 1 shot onto the tank. Not going to get a second, though. Has to back away. Look at the main base for Flash. How many turrets have been built here? He knows. He knows that we're going to have these budget recalls coming in. Throwing down a few mines here could be insanely good as well. You really want to protect this all-important armory in the back of your base here as Flash. This armory over here as well has to be protected, so he's got to be careful, vigilant about those drops coming into his main base while simultaneously defending both of the third and the fourth. It appears that Rain doesn't actually know about this just yet. He's going to fly in here and spot that. I think he's going to be shocked to see that a fourth base is done already in mining.
Yeah, I think he didn't anticipate it being this early. I think he sniffed out that it would probably be coming, which is why he's now double expanding into the top right. But I bet you he did not expect it to be this soon. Flash is currently on a warpath to set up a very strong Terran late game composition here. And so far he's doing an excellent job of it. Looks like, meanwhile, both upgrades are also in Flash's favor. 2-1 to 0-0-0. Only just now starting to finish up the weapons upgrade is Rain. So Flash also ahead on the upgrades on top of that as well. So looking really good for him right now, even though he's behind on supply.
Yeah, being behind on supply right now is completely fine as long as you hold this fourth. One tank is holding the fourth right now. Just one. Somehow he's getting away with this at the moment. I think if Rain sniffs that out, if he gets over there and sees that, he'll probably want to bring up some more shuttles to try and break through. He is going for this shuttle or speed shuttle style once again. A bunch of Templars are now popping out, and the storm is about halfway done. So a break point here for Rain will be occurring soon, and we'll probably see him try to break the bank of Flash in at least one of these positions very, very quickly here.
Yeah, right now he's hesitating because he wants to get this rally point set up in the top right. We see gateways being thrown down. Until those 4 gateways, at least those 4 gateways are on. He's actually going down to make 6 up there, probably even a few more later on. So he's going to be trying to get these additional production up so that once he's maxed, which he is now, he can also start refilling very quickly and not have to worry about his one of his rally points getting contained on the counterattack from Flash. So he still has the opportunity to counterattack and to flank Flash, even if he does get one of those points contained later on. So right now, Rain just trying to dot his I's and cross his T's before trying to make a commitment to Flash, who's right now looking pretty strong, almost maxed out himself.
A dangerous game is Rain playing at this moment. He is trying to just take a huge portion of the map and get to a point where his army and his economy is so strong that the Terran's not going to be able to fight it forever. Another base going up here at the top left. He's just taking the entire map right now, but this is the way that Flash likes to play. He loves to sit back on 4 bases, get maxed out with his upgrades, and then do one epic strong push to win the game. It's going to be very difficult for Rain to stop that. We'll see how he does here. He's moving around very nicely, making sure that no loose vultures manage to escape out onto the map, place a bunch of mines, and make a problem here for Flash, or for Rain. So doing a good job so far. It'll all come down to this next engagement, though.
Yeah, I don't think Rain should or would pull the trigger right this second. We do see Flash constantly scanning for the army of Rain, identifying exactly where it is and what its intentions are so that he can keep his army in the right setup to deal with it. Look at this beautiful spread of tanks. It's going to be so hard for Rain to attack into it. It looks like he wants to clear out some of the mines before deciding whether or not he should go in, and he definitely will not be deciding to go in there anytime soon, I can't imagine. With this base, though, going up in the top left, saying he's going to have so many gateways and 3 rally points to pincer Flash from. So if Flash doesn't do anything about this base going up in the top left for quite some time, it will be a little bit scary for him.
Yeah, adding on even more factories here is Flash, going up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 gates. And adding on a 5th base as well here in the main. He's going to be floating that probably down to the south. We'll see Flash, I think, move out shortly here and try to contain the natural. But there are so many bases around the map with a ton of gateways at each location. So that's going to be really the major problem here for Flash going forward. Here we go, everything unsieging. He is ready to go, but the moment it does, Rain just gonna pull straight up to the front, throws down a a couple of storms there and then backs away, forces the siege up once again. Now unsieging, here we go. Finally, it is time to push here for Flash. We're going across the map. Some blanket storms are going to be thrown down here on the tanks. Nicely done there. Getting one more storm. No, not able to get it. Good snipes there from Flash with those vultures. Here we go. Another storm. Dealing some damage and picking off the science vessel. Nice.
Yeah, Flash did such a good job of sniping those High Templars even before that fight started. When he was retreating, he sniped off 2 of those High Templars on the retreat as well. So really on top of this game, now going to be rolling across the eastern threshold with this huge Terran army, just a move commanding through some of these psionic storms with just a handful of units while the rest of the tanks move in position behind. Now going to be trying to contain this rally point in the bottom right and start to knock out some of these bases if he can, and try and force the Protoss army to engage him head on as much as possible so he can get the full value out of this huge Terran mech army with the late game upgrades of 3-2.
Well, the army is set up here in the front, but we got no Goliaths and no Vultures with this, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge to hold this position here, especially against shuttles that can drop Zealot bombs all over this army. A lot of Vultures do make their way up to the front. A fresh round here firing up here to the natural base of Rain. Meanwhile, the 6 o'clock is being taken, and Flash is going to be mining off of that base here shortly, pushing straight up into this natural. I think Rain gonna have to concede this base here on high ground, possibly his natural as well, and just look for other ways to do damage. Maybe find a way to completely surround this army and kill it off a little bit later. If he can start some sort of distraction somewhere else on the map, maybe he can find a way to crack this location.
Yeah, for the time being, he's going to try and get some High Templars on the cliff so we can start storming down onto the low ground, which is one of the ideal ways you can deal with this situation. Just by getting some High Templars and storming from the high ground, you can soften up this contain. But look at the siege line behind it. There's so many tanks right now. I think it's going to come down to whether or not Rain can outmaneuver him out on the map with these other 2 rally points he has at his disposal. Now trying to throw down some storms on these tanks at the front and then steamroll out with some Zealots. But there's just so many units here for Flash. It's going to be really tough for him to break out of this contain. He's going to have to do something else with the other units he's got in the middle.
Gonna be losing his natural now. Army moving across the map. This is a ton of tanks that are just getting caught here in the middle. This is not good for Flash. So many tanks moving their way up here. They're just gonna get destroyed by these Dragoons, Templar, and Zealots that are being thrown down here. Beautiful trades right now for Rain, really making up for the earlier losses here by clearing out a bunch of these tanks.
This is just what he needs to come into this game again. Like, killing off enough of the Terran siege tanks will give him some fighting chance. The problem is he's still currently quite 30 supply behind, even in worker count. He does have a lot of minerals in the bank, but as long as Flash doesn't make any missteps and lose too many chunks of army like we just saw there, I feel like Flash will start to put the pressure on him. He is still contained in the bottom right, and it's going to be really tough for him to break out, but it's still very playable for Rain. There's some beautiful storms coming down onto these units at the mineral-only base in the top right. The Flash kind of just trying to move up there and start laying siege to this base to try and knock out these expansions as quickly as possible before Rain can remax out with all these gateways that he's got in his top right and top left. Going to be sending down some reinforcing Zealots into the minefields, try and break this vision. Beautiful storms coming out from the shuttle to save this Nexus if he can.
So many storms being thrown down by Rain. He's trying to hold on with Storm alone, it feels like. Is going to be losing this base, though, it seems. Should transfer these probes away, because there's nothing over here for probes at the top left. It's like 1 probe mining minerals in the top left quadrant. I feel like Rain has completely forgotten about these bases.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about what's going on there. I feel like, yeah, Rain really has kind of neglected these other bases out on the map. It's a little bit unfortunate. He's kind of stressed right now, trying to make sure he doesn't just lose the game, but at the same time, he's not growing himself and not really macroing maybe as well as he probably should need to be able to take on someone of Flash's caliber when he's set up like this. This is Flash in his element once he gets all his production lined up, and he's got this additional base at the 6 o'clock now, keeping his production alive with this extra trickle of money. It's going to keep able him to get out on the map with more and more units as time goes on. But if Flash is not able to put out enough of a play that he can start to contain these bases in the top right and the top left, though, Rain can still run away with this game, because he is catching some of these tanks out in the middle of that. Beautiful storms on these tanks in the middle as they're in retreat. So slowly but surely, Rain doing what he can to try and claw his way back into this game, but meanwhile still contained in the bottom right.
Finally getting to work here. Some of the probes going onto these mineral patches in the top left. Still not enough, though, I feel. And he's starting to max out once again. He's bringing the probes out to mine. That's good stuff. But here comes Flash towards that upper left. Could end up breaking this position. There's quite a bit of Dragoons over here on the right-hand side. But he needs more shuttles here, I feel, and Zealots to actually break through this long line of tanks that's going to be set up here and start to crush this Nexus. Nexus is going to be going down very quickly with these 3-3 tanks. About 6 of them sieging up in range, going to kill a Nexus very, very quickly.
Yeah, this is really hard for Rain to break through here, and this is exactly the move that Flash needed to win, but it looks like that Rain wants to try and catch this army off guard by coming in from the south up onto the mineral high ground, using the high ground against Flash from behind, and see if he can sandwich these units in the top left and clear them up efficiently to maybe give him some opportunity to come out on the map from this rally point. He has got a lot of Zealots and High Templars in those factories. Beautiful storms on those siege tanks sitting outside is natural, so it looks like Rain might be able to break out of it a little bit, but with these reinforcing units coming up into the middle high ground area, it's going to be really tough for him to keep fighting Flash's army. He's still maintaining the supply lead all this time and has the slight worker advantage as well, so it's going to be really tough for Rain to keep trading with Flash like this.
Flash setting up here on this high ground. This will be the next base he wants to take in this game. He is mined out in his first 3 locations. The 4th base starting to run low as well. The 5th base is still looking healthy. He'll have to grab this 6 at the mineral only, and it is very vulnerable to Templar being thrown down on the other side of this cliff. This is becoming a very scrappy game here with Flash in the lead. Can Rain find a way to claw his way back in? He needs a full army to get together and smash the 6th base. That is priority number 1. Priority number 2, grab more locations on the map. Perhaps this 12 o'clock, maybe this natural up in the top left as well. That would really give Rain a fighting chance in this game.
Yeah, Rain's currently been shuffling his army from the bottom right using shuttles, so he can sometimes reinforce from the bottom right, even though he's contained. Nagli trying to make a big move out. Defense Matrix comes down onto the front tanks, which are going to negate some of the Psionic Storm damage, but it's like Rain is still so desperate and adamant on trying to break out, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and he is going to be backing away. I feel like he should have not tried to break out there, instead use those shuttles to elevate some of his army out onto the map to maybe try and make something else work, but it's becoming a nightmare situation for him right now.
Yeah, he's really trying to break out of this chokehold that Flash has had him in for quite a while. This high ground location here, the mineral only, is about to be attacked. Some good storms go down on these units on the left side. Gonna kill off a few of the tanks, but a lot of these Dragoons just getting caught on top of each other, bouncing and bumbling around here, getting crushed by the tank fire. That was not a good trade for Rain, and this is going to embolden Flash to the point, and he may end up going up into the top left and destroying that base as well.
Yeah, he's definitely feeling extremely confident right now. Like the game is just getting better and better for Flash the more that time progresses. He could just maintain the game state and probably still win, but it looks like he does want to be going for that checkmate move and taking out this base in the top left. There's not anything left here besides some cannons and a few Zealots on the way from these gateways. So Flash looks like going to be taking this base out. Meanwhile, looks like Rain going to be trying to counterattack and try and pincer this army in the bottom right from both sides. See if he can break out of this rally point contained, so he at least has some units that he can get out onto the map.
The EMP just hit those Templars so hard. There was like 5 Templar in that EMP. Massive, massive damage there. Getting rid of all those storms and forcing the tap out from his opponent. Rain goes down, and guys, that's the end of our series. 3-3 is the final result. Flash finally shaking off some of that rust, getting into his element and playing a fantastic game here to end things off. All right, here are your statistics, overview, units, structures, and resources. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this duo cast from me and Shun. Definitely check out Shun's channel. He does live streams every single day. I think he's a little bit stuck on D4 right now, but hopefully he'll be back to Broodwar soon. And we'll get more ladder or ranked replays from him, more ladder sessions from him. Guys, that is it for this cast. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.